This month on the live edition of Mustang Magazine, we hear from a Nord local with a special collection of shoes. We meet a high school student creating animations at home, and we learn about an NHS-TV student who uses his skills outside the classroom. These stories and more on the special edition of Mustang Magazine.
Hello, and welcome to the 65th edition of Mustang Magazine. I'm Stephen Allinger.
And I'm Adeline Jeanette. Mustang Magazine is a show produced by advanced broadcast journalism students from Norwood High School.
This show is being taped live in the NHS-TV studio. That being said, let's get started.
Recently, some NHS students caught up with a member of the robotics program in their recent project. Freshmen Neo Getgano and Christos Georgopoulos bring us a story.
Sophomore Jade Perry is part of the team of students who created a robotic vehicle in the Engineering 1 class.
So we're building a rover that will go down Nickel Street to the Cleveland and back up.
The rover is part of a capstone project where teams of students are tasked with figuring out the best way to design and build a roving vehicle that could be operated remotely on a planet like Mars.
A lot of the groups have similar tactics, but I feel like our group is trying to find different ways to execute different things.
And while each group will probably take their own unique approach, it's actually Perry's group itself that is a bit different.
I didn't really expect to be the only girl, but being around a bunch of guys, you'd think you'd be really separated, but like we're all like one, which is pretty cool.
Perry's the only female in the Engineering 1 class, and she's only one of 6 in the entire program. Engineering teacher Dr. Mike Crowley says women are underrepresented in the fields of engineering, and he hopes students understand that problem solving has no gender preference.
So all the students are given the same task, but they all have different solutions, which to me is like the best we can do in education, because they should be expressing themselves. It's really, what's great about it is it's a form of intellectual property, because it's their own ideas.
And while Crowley and Perry will tell you that the Mars Pathfinder rover project can challenge students' ability to be creative, they both agree that people shouldn't be afraid to take the class.
It's actually easier than you may think. Like there's so many like technical aspects to it, but once you do it once, and you know what you're doing, you get in a role and you roll right through.
So one of the misconceptions that students have is like, oh, I could never do that. I don't have a creative side. I could never be a problem solver. But once they learn the content, they realize, oh my goodness, not only can I do this, I'm actually very good at it.
Right now, Perry and her team are putting the finishing touches on their vehicle. She says she's glad she's in the engineering class and she's enjoying the experience of working with her team.
It's pretty amazing. Like the dynamic of my group, like the 3 guys I work with, they're like my brothers now, like they're amazing. So
Perry's engineering team will be taking their rover to the street later this month to see if they measure up to the goals and objectives. Keep an eye out on school social media for pictures of the event. Reporting for Mustang Magazine, I'm Neo Getgano.
Thanks, Neo and Christos, and best of luck to Jade Perry and all of her future robotics projects.
Now we have a story about an NHS-TV student who brought together his love for dogs and his love for video production in an interesting way. Sophomore staff reporter Sophia Eliopoulos and Dariah Council bring us the story.
When Dan Gruber signed up for the TV class, he knew he'd be producing stories for his high school news show. But what he didn't know was how one story would change his life.
So me and my partner were 2 weeks in and we had no story idea yet.
But after a suggestion from a classmate, Gruber says he decided to follow up on a lead about a nonprofit organization that trains and pairs service dogs with people in need.
We reached out through Facebook and contacted Tom Smith, who was the placement coordinator, or the volunteer coordinator at the time, and we got an interview with Pauline and just kind of started from there.
Pauline Hegler runs the Golden Opportunities for Independence organization, or GOFI for short. Hegler says after seeing Gruber's work on his story, she could see he had a passion for her golden retrievers.
He came in, he did that segment that he had to do, but then he just fell in love with everything that he saw here, so he kept on coming back.
So eventually, Hegler said she hired him.
He needed some videos made, so he came and helped me with that, and so it's just been a really great working relationship there. He's there whenever I need him to help out. He's raised awareness, he's done movies for us, so he's really great in that regard.
Gruber has been working at GOFI for more than a year now, and he says that he does more than just make videos.
I go outside, I clean the horses' pens, I sweep around the puppy areas, I play with the puppies. I don't know, the puppies are awesome.
And while Gruber says making videos and playing with puppies is very satisfying, he also loves working with the people at Gofi.
Gofi changed my life because it gave me like a new job. It gave me something I'm passionate about and kind of fueled my love for dogs. I've met many amazing people here.
Gruber's newest project is an actual talk show featuring the Gofi Goldens. Be on the lookout for that on the community media television station. Reporting from Mustang Magazine, I'm Sophia Eliopoulos.
Sophia and Jariah, thank you.
Those puppies were adorable.
For real, Dan loves his puppies. In this next story with me, we meet an elderly man who still loves his running. Maggie Federico reports.
Between 1978 and 1997, Norwood resident Mike Sullivan ran 73 marathons.
The best time was in the Boston Peace Marathon. I ran 2 hours, 40 minutes and 32 seconds. Finished 23rd out of a field of 3,000.
And throughout his running career, Sullivan has won his division several times in various races in New York and Boston.
In Boston, in 1990, I won the over 60 division. In New York, in 1985, I won the 50 plus division.
Sullivan is known around town as a legendary long-distance runner. And while he spent most of his 89 years in Norwood, he grew up in Carnarvon County, Kerry, Ireland. He immigrated to the United States in his mid-20s.
We moved to Norwood in '73. I started to put on a few pounds and I decided to run. I used to go to the Norwood High to the track up there, and that's where I started.
Sullivan ran his first marathon at age 48 and never looked back from there. He says the training he did to get ready for a 26-mile race was always intensive.
You have to do some serious mileage. I averaged roughly around 75 miles a week.
Some of those miles included his run home from work.
I never ran to work because I had to work that day and I didn't want to be too tired. The boss wouldn't like if I had to go for a nap or something like that. But usually I got through work at 4:40. I'd run from Kenmore Square to Norwood, which was 22 miles.
Mike's wife, Teresa, says supporting his running became a family affair, often organizing a greeting party at the finish line.
We were always out supporting him, and all the kids came too. And after the races, they always supplied juice, donuts, and other little things.
And after years of watching Mike run marathons, she felt inspired to write a poem.
I'll just give you a couple of lines. And it said, when Mike Sullivan runs the marathon, he's always ever ready. He gives advice to running friends, now go out nice and steady. For if you don't, you'll surely pay, and then you lose the well upon the 20-mile mark on the famous Heartbreak Hill.
Sullivan's running experience has given him a lot of perspective on being a high-profile athlete. He says patience is a key factor because success rarely comes easy.
Everything is progression. You don't get better overnight. It comes over a period of time, so you have to put in your training. And what you put into it, you get out of it.
And after a lifetime of putting in everything he had, Mike Sullivan has surely secured his legacy as a marathon runner and a Norwich sports legend. Reporting for Mustang Magazine, I'm Maggie Federico.
That man is so sweet. I love it.
For sure.
Aaron Sullivan, thank you.
Now we have a story on an NHS student who has a unique hobby.
Staff reporters Asher Hutch and Thomas Harder bring us the story.
Sophomore Jerry O'Reilly is a digital artist. He likes animating short cartoons.
Well, I like to draw/animate for fun. I spend a few hours a day or more animating, but it can take longer, up to like midnight for some reason.
O'Reilly has been making digital art for the past 3 years. He says learning to use the right tools has made a big difference.
Well, the mouse sucked, and I didn't want to draw with it anymore, so I got a drawing pad.
And with some training and practice in the 2D digital design class, O'Reilly said his drawing skills began to progress.
Because I learned how to make easier line drawings, how to fill things easier. I just had better, general just hand skills. I can just draw easier shapes and make better drawings.
Along with the hand-eye skills he was developing, O'Reilly says he also began to master the digital tools.
In our class, learned how to use softwares better, easier keybinds, just how to make life easier when animating such drawing on online programs.
O'Reilly says he gets a lot of satisfaction from drawing on a computer. Fellow artist Jordy Joya says he admires all the interesting creations.
He watches a lot of cartoons on TV. He likes watching a lot of animated movies, and I think he gets inspired from watching those. They're all pretty interesting, and that's what makes them unique, because he makes these original characters that look very hilarious.
Joya says he and O'Reilly created their own hand-drawn comics together back in kindergarten.
I did a lot back then when we would start reading books like Captain Underpants and also books like Bone as well. We would always get inspired by those drawings, and we would even draw comics ourselves. We would usually I would work on the text and he would do the drawings as well.
These days, O'Reilly says he's focused on getting better with his animation so he can someday make it his career.
I want to animate at various high network companies such as Cartoon Network, or just doing small comic book things for fun.
So keep your eye out for O'Reilly's animations so you can check him out online on his Tumblr page. Reporting for Mustang Magazine, I'm Thomas Harder.
That was really cool. I know I'm not nearly artistic enough to do that at all.
Totally agree. NHS students do some cool stuff. Our next story is about someone with another interesting hobby.
Staff reporters Allie Parkinson and Aaron Dunn bring us the story.
Norwood local Richard Kazao has a lot of sneakers, and after collecting more than 2,000 pairs during a 40-year span, he decided they needed their own residence.
For years and years I was building this collection, but no one got to see it because it just got so overwhelming that I had to figure out something to do with them.
So Kazao moved his collection from an ordinary storage unit over to the Norwood Space Center, an old converted linoleum factory.
It was an empty old warehouse that was abandoned, and a bunch of artistic type people came in and they took it into individual kind of collector's spaces where a lot of businesses gather and a lot of different types of people are here.
And that was the beginning of what Kazao now calls his sneaker museum.
I had to figure out something to do with them that, could share with everyone, and I could get some pleasure out of seeing them and playing around with them and photographing them and sharing them and whatever.
Recently, Kazao has been building what he calls his wall of 1,000 Jordans.
It started with Jordan. He kind of created the sneaker craze of making sneakers kind of art for your feet, and that's kind of what we grasped onto back then, and it's kind of never stopped.
Kazao says he has a real connection to the history behind his collection.
Every pair of sneakers is a different story, and sharing those with other collectors and family members and friends, and that's what really collecting is all about.
And now that Kazao's space is becoming more organized, he's thinking about what's next.
There's a lot of potential opportunities in the future. People are always reaching out to do things, which is good. But who knows where it'll take us. Hopefully, someday we'll do this massive exhibit.
If you'd like to catch up with Kazao and his kicks, he says you can visit his website at sneakermuseum.com for upcoming event information. Reporting for Mustang Magazine, I'm Allie Parkinson.
Thanks, Allie. I can't even imagine having that many shoes.
Exactly. I own one pair of shoes. Now we have a story on a group of kids fighting for a really good cause.
Staff reporters Livy Bedard and Cece Venditti bring us this inspiring story.
8th grader Kaylee Brown is a triathlete. Recently, she organized a team of runners who raced to raise money for the Dana-Farber Foundation.
I thought that with more people doing the triathlon, it would make a bigger statement and help out the community.
Brown says she also wanted to give back to an organization that helped her through a rough time a few years back.
Everyone has their own story, and I happen to have a different story. Someone else might have a worse story than me, but mine's just different.
Brown was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia in the 6th grade. Now in remission, she says she's getting stronger every day. Running triathlons with her friends has been part of her rehab.
As I said, they really helped me and put a smile on my face every single day that I was there. So I just wanted to give back.
From the outside, Brown seems to come from a position of strength. Her mom, Tracy, says that's just the way Kaylee is.
She always had a positive spirit. She always had a smile on her face, and she always had that never-ending, nothing, no mountain is too high. The fact that she was a 12-year-old girl going through a very serious illness, diagnosis, and treatment, and that she came through it with flying colors and is so much better for it on the other side. I'm incredibly proud of her.
Brown says her triathlon team is currently preparing for another race this summer.
My biggest goal is probably to just have everyone cross the finish line like last time. Doesn't really matter money-wise. It's amazing to see the faces on, like, after we raise all the money, but everyone who participates and stuff like that, like the feeling of everyone crossing the finish line, that's amazing.
Team Kaylee says they're ready to run the New England Kids Triathlon in July. If you'd like to support them in their fundraiser, email Kaylee directly at cebrown2004@icloud.com. Reporting for Mustang Magazine, I'm Livy Bedard.
Thanks, Livy and Cece. It's really amazing that these kids are doing that.
Absolutely. Now we have a story on a local juice bar that is new to South Norwood.
Staff reporters Shannon Gover and Sarah Welch bring us the story on this fun new Norwood hotspot.
A new juice bar in Norwood is gaining popularity by mixing up a variety of healthy ingredients. Norwood resident Laura Miller says her go-to is the Green Islander.
I like it because it's got the pineapple and the spinach, so I feel like I'm getting some iron into my diet in a healthy way that tastes good.
Miller is an expecting mother, so it's really important that she pays attention to her nutrition.
I wanted a healthy breakfast and was also craving some fruits this morning.
The juice bar opened in South Norwood in May 2018, and owner Marceli Pastorio says her store is not your typical smoothie place.
The way I make things, it's not an ordinary way, how everybody makes it. It's not the cookie cutter. It's a little bit different, and every single juice smoothie that we make is unique in our own cultural way.
Pastorio says it's not just the juice blends that her customers come in for. With 6 options for bowls ranging from popular acai to mango and pineapple, there's something for every palate. There's even an avocado kale bowl.
They're all very healthy for you, low in sugar, and you choose your own toppings. We have around 18 toppings to choose from. You can have as little as you want or as much as you want.
I like it because I feel like it's healthy and I can get all kinds of fun toppings, including Nutella, which is what I added this morning.
While the bowls and toppings are always a favorite, Pastorio says she knows it's the fresh ingredients in her juices that people always keep coming back for. So if you're looking for a tasty snack or you're craving a healthy drink, stop by the juice bar in South Norwood and try it out for yourself. Reporting for Mustang Magazine, I'm Sarah Welch.
I can personally attest to how good that juice bar is.
I love their smoothies.
So good. That is all we have for today. As always, make sure to check us out on Mustang.media and look us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
And for all of us here at NHS-TV all around the school, have a great day, Mustangs.
That was good.